You're listening to the OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody. It is episode number 377 of the OMG Hour. That is the show you're watching right now. And of course, I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I am Tico, Mr. Second Place. And I know you're thrilled for today because sports are back, Sean.
Go team.
Sports are back.
Go
Baseball started today.
Go
Basketball
sport
has
ball
some
team.
games on. I know you are super excited about sports, so we're going to dedicate this entire show to sports.
Okay, bye.
That's all it took to get rid of it. Oh, hi.
Oh, I'm back.
All right, I'm excited about sports starting because I like sports, and it's, you know.
Why do you like sports?
Well, I don't know. I just do. I enjoy playing them, and then I enjoy watching other people play them, and I get a sense of satisfaction from that.
I guess that's why so many people love watching people play video games. It's kind of like a sport.
Yeah.
It's it's an e-sport. We should start calling it that. Oh, hang on. It already is.
Yeah, they do that already.
They do that already?
You know,
Okay.
like, listen, people watch other stuff. My wife will garden, and then she will watch shows about gardening.
True.
That's the same thing with me watching sports stuff, and your mentality towards that is probably about the same as mine towards her gardening shows.
Yeah, maybe.
Although I actually kind of like gardening shows at times. The good competition gardening shows.
I like watching Gordon Ramsay's cooking shows, but I don't watch it because I like cooking.
No, you watch it because you like eating.
I actually watch it because I like Gordon Ramsay, if I'm being completely honest.
So you like watching people get yelled at is what you enjoy out of that. It has nothing to do with it. You're not watching a cooking show, you're watching a yelling show. It could be any subject. If somebody's getting screamed at, Sean is interested.
Well, my favorite shows of his, it's funny we're talking about TV all of a sudden at the beginning of the show, but whatever. I don't really care anymore. No. Just anyway, okay. I like watching his shows, specifically the ones where he goes in and tries to fix things, like Hotel Hell or 24 Hours to Hell and Back, which is essentially the new Kitchen Nightmares, right? I like watching those because I enjoy watching how stupid people can be when they have a master chef in their presence who knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? And yet they still want to argue with him.
Even when they know he's coming and there's cameras all over the place and they're still going to be like, I don't know, just feed him the one that the mouse walked on.
Right?
You know, and stuff like that. Like, if you know... I mean, I don't care if you think it's a Gordon Ramsay show or a BBC show or a local... If somebody says, hey, we're going to be coming in with a camera to film at some point... Yeah. Maybe clean up the mouse droppings from your kitchen.
Yeah,
just a suggestion.
Well,
just clean up the mouse droppings from your kitchen and do that if you're a restaurant.
His new show, 24 Hours to Hell and Back, they don't know it's Gordon that's coming. They just think it's one of those.
Coming.
Yeah, right. They know someone's coming. They think it's one of those like renovation shows, like on A&E.
You know someone's coming. If we have companies stopping by to pick something up, my wife mops the floor of the kitchen.
Oh yes.
God forbid somebody sees that. You know, but these people, like, somebody's coming with a camera to do a renovation show, and you're like, let's not clean out the rat traps.
Right? When you guys come over for game day, Dorothy makes sure the house is clean. Anyway, let's move on. All right. Some gaming. So actually, before we move on to gaming, I want to just mention for our listeners, for our viewers, we've got a new series on our YouTube channel. Obviously, OMG Nexus, youtube.com/OMG Nexus. We have a new series called Kicking Tables, which is sort of a sister show to Flipping Tables. Flipping Tables is where we talk about and review board games, tabletop games. Kicking Tables is where we interview developers on Kickstarter of tabletop games. So we've found some Kickstarters titles that we've been interested in is where it's kind of started, and we're talking to the developers of those games, and that's called Kicking Tables. There's 2 episodes out already. It's brand new, just started this week. First one, we talk with Julie Beerworth and Adrian Carryhard. They're the creators of Mantis Falls. And we spoke with Andy Logan, the creator of The Shivers. And The Shivers is a game we saw at PAX Unplugged last year. Pop-up book adventure game. So fantastic. Cool. So check out... Both of those are actually...
Sorry, go ahead. Sean.
Yes, no, it's okay. Check out Kicking Tables on the YouTube channel. It's we're having a lot of fun doing that. We've got some more coming up soon. I'm actually really excited about this new series.
It's a lot of fun, and both Mantis Falls and The Shivers are still live on Kickstarter. If you're watching this around the time that we are recording, do yourself a favor, check out our show and see what you think of it, and then hop on there and back those games, because they both look really fun.
And while you're checking it out, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and comment.
Oh, yeah, all right, that stuff.
All that stuff. Tico, I said to you the other day, I said, you need to stop me, Tico, because ever since the lockdown, I've been backing Kickstarter after Kickstarter, but I think I haven't been doing it like every day, but I feel like I've kickstarted one new game like almost every month. And then you pointed out, which is fine because I'm not doing anything else.
Right. You don't have other vices along those lines. We're not buying, neither of us are buying a ton of video games right now because there's not a lot coming out. We're not going out to the theater because nothing's coming out to the theater.
We're not eating out at restaurants. Right. We don't drink. I don't smoke.
You don't drink. You don't gamble. You don't smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that people spend hundreds of dollars on every month.
Could you say I don't gamble since I do back Kickstarters? It's kind of a gamble.
You don't bet on the ponies. How about that?
That's true.
So I mean, you have the money to do that. It's an interest that you have. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. And I'm going to encourage this behavior because if you back them, I get to come over to your place and play them, and I don't have to spend any of the money myself. So it works out in my favor too.
This is true. I mean, I've been backed a few. In fact, the two creators we spoke to, I backed both of those projects. But you know what? We came out of the Shivers at PAX saying I need that game, so I was happy to back that one. And Mantis Falls is just a really cool social deduction game, kind of like a werewolf style game, but you only need 2 to 3 players, which is
that I loved about it.
Love that idea. So check that out on our YouTube channel. The only game I've been playing this week is Ghost of Tsushima. Still been playing a lot of that. I know you've been playing a lot of that as well.
I played more than you.
Yeah, we've kind of had a lot of stuff going on for our channel this week. What are you thinking so far? I know you've played a lot further than me. You know what I love to do? I love to get in there. It's the great game for if you just want to relax, you can literally just run around the countryside. You know, it is a gorgeous game to actually watch. And, I see things a lot brighter than the video captures, and I think because it's the HD TV doing HDR, so it brightens things up. But the game is beautiful, and I love just walking around finding things. You know, it's so full of life. And the other day you mentioned that you saw the fox, and you're like, well, what do I do with a fox den? Well, you actually follow the fox to this shrine, and you honor the shrine, and it unlocks things for you as you get more, you find more and more shrines.
Yeah, I had found like 12 different shrines while walking around. I'm like, okay, there's another fox den. I don't know what it's doing for me, and they were just all sitting there on my map. It's great because they are fast travel points as well.
Yes, they are.
So it made it really easy to go clean them up. And you're like, yeah, you followed the fox, and then I'm like, oh. Well, I didn't know that.
Well, you know what I love about the game, too, is even following the yellow bird. If you see a yellow bird, follow it, because it's going to take you to, it could take you to a spring where you can get your strength back, you gain health there. It could take you to any number of hidden places. And the one thing you're going to see in the video here is a really cool, I don't know, it's just sort of a relaxing thing where you actually create a haiku. you relax and you choose out of the three. You have to create, obviously, a haiku is a 3-verse poem.
Yeah.
But you actually choose, based on a certain topic, what the 3 verses are based on 3 choices for each of the 3 verses. So you're literally composing your own haiku in the game. And that haiku is now permanently stamped on the headband you get from it.
Yeah.
Right? So that is your personal haiku you've created in the game. And it's just kind of, I mean, what a unique thing to throw into a game.
And it is there's a lot of spots amidst all of the violence and everything like that this game does have. You know, you have the onsens, the spas, basically, where you can go and sit and reflect on stuff. You have the haiku spots. You have all this beautiful nature and everything like that, you know, sort of as this parallel to, you know, hacking off guys' arms and legs.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So yeah, I'm enjoying. I love it. I sat down last night. I think it was the first time I got to play the game this week, and I played a good hour and a half. Just, you know what? In that hour and a half, Tico, and this is the kind of game it is. I basically went around a little town that I had just unlocked last time I played. And then I found this haiku place, and then I found an encampment that I spent the rest of the time ghosting, right? Just going through the whole thing, trying to pick off the guys in ghost mode. The one downside to this game is I made a fatal mistake while I was trying to ghost that encampment, and I died. It resets you right there. But the entire camp has been reset. I had 2 guys left, Tico. 2 guys. I made a fatal mistake that killed me, and the entire camp was reset to the beginning. That is disappointing in my mind.
Yeah. So the one thing that I haven't died too often. I think I jumped off of a cliff once and landed a little harder than I should have. The one thing that I don't care for, and it's part of the storyline of the game. So the storyline is all about honor and facing off against these, you know, the Mongols face to face and calling them out.
Right.
As opposed to the stealth action where you are sneaking through.
Right.
It gives you that option. You have to choose, but the game admonishes you for choosing the stealth. If you sneak through and like you said, ghost an entire thing. You know, when you speak to your uncle or to the master archer or anything like that, they admonish you for your behavior because it's not very samurai-like.
Really?
And so
I haven't come across that yet.
Yeah, so when you speak to your uncle and stuff like that, he'll talk to you about honor and stuff like that, because the samurai way is to basically face everybody head on.
Yes.
But it gives you the option to play both, but then the storyline takes it to the point where it's telling us, like, well, you're not a true samurai because you're doing the stealth part. And I'm like, I like sneaking through in this game, which is weird for me because normally I like to run in and guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
And then the archer did the same thing. He's like, oh well, that you don't fight with so much honor because you snuck in and stabbed that guy in the back. I'm like, you sit 100 yards away and fire an arrow at a guy's head. How is that much more honorable?
How's that any different?
Like, how is that any different? Like, it's not like you said, hey, look over here, and then shot him. It's a whole weird thing that the archer guy is telling me that it's not honorable to, sneak up on a guy and kill him.
I didn't realize. I mean, I haven't gotten too far in the story. I know you've entered Act 2. I'm still on Act 1. I didn't realize that was a thing where you were admonished for acting this way. I do notice that a lot of times in the story, when he does stuff like that, he'll actually mutter to himself something like, please forgive me, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I certainly hope in the long run there isn't a downside to ghosting, because that's the whole point. I mean, it's that's the name of the game, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I just wish that people would be like a little bit better with the whole thing. Like, do I need to run in and fight 40 guys? Like, how is that much more honorable? Like, I have to fight 40 guys in a row?
Yeah, and you're gonna die.
I've actually, because I've unlocked some cool samurai moves.
Oh, nice.
I can face like larger groups at a time now, and I feel pretty good with it because I've been doing the I think the mythic quests and stuff like that. The blue.
Yeah, I have a couple of those done as well, where you gain a mythic weapon or ability.
Yeah. And that is so much fun. That is very satisfying. That's the one where it's like, oh, go find this place, and it gives you a picture, like a drawing, Japanese drawing of an area, and you have to find and match that up in the environment, and it's very satisfying when you find that. And one of the things I absolutely love are the duels. I don't know how many duels you've done.
Duels?
Yeah, so there's certain spots in the game, and it's like they have a name. It's like the duel at Mount whatever, or the duel, and it's in a beautiful environment, like, you know, often with like the long flowing grass and everything like that. And they do the showdown where you're both like set across from each other, almost like a gunslinger's.
Oh yeah.
duel.
I've done 2 of those because the epic quests, the epic things do that.
Yeah, and then he just like flicks the blade out with his thumb.
Yeah,
and then you just have like an awesome. I just love the set, the music to that. Like, it really feels a lot. It feels so much like cinema.
It does. I mean, it does have that sort of Wild West feel to it, doesn't it? Like two gunslingers, only it's 2 sword swingers.
Well, you're familiar with the movie The Magnificent Seven.
Yes, but I have never seen it.
Yeah, that movie is based off the Kurosawa film Seven Samurai.
Oh, okay.
So it really is the spaghetti western is based off of
the samurai
Japanese samurai culture.
Yeah, I mean, the game is it's so fantastic. It really is. You know, I'm having a great time playing it. You mentioned last week that you're joking about being an Assassin's Creed game. You know, where are the towers that you have to climb? Well, there's the lighthouses you have to light, right? And last night I found a lighthouse basically around the area where I am now. There's a lighthouse just up to the right there, or to the left. And it's also surrounded by enemies, but I managed to sneak into the lighthouse without alerting the enemy, lit the lighthouse, and then shot one enemy. Here I am. I'm thinking sort of like an Assassin's Creed game where enemies typically don't start climbing all the ladders, or even like Ghost Recon. They don't climb the ladders. They just shoot you from down below. I thought, oh, they're not going to climb the ladder. So I shoot one guy from the top. Every single enemy climbed right up to the top of the lighthouse, and I had this battle against all these shield wielders on the outside of the rooftop of the lighthouse, and it was pretty darn epic. I survived the whole thing, like, miraculously, but the entire battle was on the roof of the lighthouse. It was pretty incredible.
And you've done some shrines as well at this point.
Oh yeah, I've done several shrines, for sure.
Yeah,
several shrines and spas, really, and you know, I think I found at least one of everything there is to find.
Yeah, the shrines are a lot of fun. They really have a Assassin's Creed feel to them. Like you get to this, like, oh, the bridge is burned down, so you have to figure out how you're going to get across.
Yeah,
and you have to figure out and climb different ways and different paths.
Yeah, that is very much an Assassin's Creed style thing right there. Climbing cliffs, jumping across bridges, jumping from branch to branch, and trying to get to this hidden shrine that is no longer accessible via the normal route. Those are cool. I really, really enjoy those. I mean, that speaks right up my alley with an Assassin's Creed game. But then we have. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm very glad that they chose this as the setting, because I guess in the early talks of this, they had talked about a pirate setting, or potentially a William Wallace Braveheart type setting.
Oh, interesting. No, I love this setting. I adore this samurai Japanese setting. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And one last thing that it just reminded me here as I'm watching my playthrough. What I love is the enemy combatants actually all speak in Mongol, whatever the Mongols speak. Mongolian? Is that Mongolian. Actually a language? Yeah. They actually speak in Mongolian, not in English, right? So they're not just a bunch of repeating lines like you would get in Assassin's Creed, right? Yeah. They're all speaking Mongolian, which I think really adds to the immersiveness, because Jin would not speak Mongolian, so he wouldn't know what they're saying either.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm loving the game. You still very much enjoying it?
I'm still very much enjoying it. I've just hit Act 2, which opens up the map significantly.
Wow.
And I'm looking forward to getting more. And it's a very relaxing game.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of different types of things. It's a lot of go here, battle these guys, go here, battle these guys, or protect this guy while you do that. But I still find it very, very relaxing to play, and absolutely gorgeous game as well.
Yeah, I agree. There's I will corroborate and I will agree that the variety of things you do in the main story is not varied, at least so far as I've played.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying the world, and I think that's sort of broken up by just exploring and doing the other things, right? So that when you do a story mission, it is something new again because you haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
So that, loving that game. It's absolutely brilliant. You owe it to yourself to play it if you have a PlayStation. You really do. In fact, Ghost of Tsushima is now the PlayStation 4's fastest selling original IP, which is pretty fantastic.
What did it beat? What did it pass?
That's a good... I think it may have been Horizon Zero Dawn.
It was Horizon Zero Dawn.
So there you go.
2.4 million copies in the first 3 days.
Oh, wow. I think Horizon was 2 million, if I'm not mistaken. 1.9 or something like that. That
it
was
doesn't
a while
have
back.
that number in the article.
Now we're talking... Now this is...
Sucker Punch?
No, I'm thinking for the record, because The Last of Us Part 2 also launched and sold 4 million in its first 3 days. But that's a first-party title.
Well, this is also an original IP. Last of Us Part 2 is part 2 of an existing IP.
I was trying to wrap my head around, you're right, original IP. So it actually beat out the original Last of Us. It then beat out Horizon. So it is now the best-selling or fastest-selling original IP in PlayStation 4's history. It's also the last original IP to come out this year. So congratulations on being the winner of the generation. Sucker Punch. Well deserved. Yeah. Well deserved. And speaking about generations, Xbox, of course, had their first party preview event yesterday. Spoke about all of their first party titles. Started off big with Halo Infinite. I'm not a huge Halo fan, but the game, I will agree the game looks absolutely fantastic. It looks incredible. Yeah. They've added new things in there like what do you call that? Grappling gun, grappling hook stuff.
Yeah.
Being able to grapple objects as well as grapple up the side of mountains. So, there's new stuff added to the game. But personally, I'm watching the video. I'm like, yeah, this looks great. I have no interest in playing it. Like, I honestly don't.
So the new things that sort of it looked like they showed off a demo, about an 8-minute demo, somebody playing, and again new items and stuff like that, like the grappling hook. It is now an open world type game.
Yes.
And so you find items such as the grappling hook, which is, I'm guessing, Zelda-like, which will let you get to the next section of the game and stuff like that. There'll be items that you'll need to unlock areas. But you can come and go as you please to try to find your collectibles and stuff like that. It looks gorgeous. I'm a Halo fan, but it is not like the greatest in the world game for me. Like it's not like I will play it and I will enjoy it and I enjoy the Halo storyline, but it's not the system seller for me that it is for everybody else.
Right. I have never in my life finished a Halo. I've played most of the Halo games, but they don't grab me. They don't make me say, hey man, I can't wait to get home and play that again. Right? So I will probably play it. It'll be on Game Pass, so sure, I'm going to play it. Right? All of these, see, there's the thing. They showed, how many did they show? Like 15 or 20, 22 games?
22 and 10, I think it was. So I think 32 was the total. It was like 22 games. and 10 console exclusives or something like that.
It
was a number.
No, it was 22 games, I think, of their from 10 of their studios. This is, I think,
Maybe
what they
that's what
said.
it was.
But
Maybe that's what
every
it
single one of those games, it will be on Game Pass, which is actually pretty incredible when you look at everything on this list and think, if you're paying that $15 a month for Game Pass, you already have all of these games before they're released, essentially. That's actually pretty incredible.
It's an amazing, like, for what they've included with their, basically with this subscription model is absolutely amazing, because it's not like, well, we've got this thing, you're paying for it, so here's some crappy stuff.
Right. No, this is
that we're going to include as part of it.
Quality
no,
games.
Here's all of this awesome stuff that you're going to get. This stuff that you would have, like, if you're spending $15 a month, that's in 4 months. 4 months of that is going to be the cost of one of these games.
One game, exactly. You're basically paying for 3 games over the course of a year. And you're getting all of these games. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are more than 3 games worth playing in this list.
Yeah, that's not including what's already on there.
Right.
Already on Game Pass too. So
and what's coming.
Yeah.
They've already, for example, they've announced Destiny. The entire Destiny 2 suite is coming to Game Pass,
including the new expansion, which is ridiculous, because this is like $200. Like, if you're talking, like, launch pricing on everything, it's like $300 worth of expansions. Even, with it dropping, it's going to be another $80 for people, or $50-$60 for people who, like, on other consoles, who just want the new expansion.
Right, exactly. That's a pretty impressive announcement they made yesterday. So some of the other games they talked about, Forza Motorsport, I think that's a given. I don't care about the main Forza Motorsport. I would love to see what Horizon is going to look like on the new system.
They did announce for Horizon is going to be part of the smart delivery, so it is getting a smart delivery.
So Horizon
Series X
4
upgrade.
Was it 4? Yeah. 4 was the last one?
4 was the last one. So it is getting a smart delivery upgrade to the Series X.
What's interesting, if Forza Motorsport had no number attached to it.
No, so it almost sounds like they're making this as the hub game, like we've seen happen with other stuff like this before.
Yeah, like this is the game that will just continually being added to, and new stuff come to it. This is Forza Motorsport.
Which makes sense, considering it's first party. It is part of Game Pass. So if you're in Game Pass, you're just going to get almost like a new season, a season's pass.
Right.
This is Forza Motorsport Season 1. And then we'll get, we've seen this in other games, PUBG, all these, Fortnite all have these seasons that they introduce new content in. And, we're probably going to see that with Forza now, too.
Yeah, exactly. So they talked about, they ended the show with an announcement of Fable. I'm like, oh my gosh, a new Fable. I really hope it is a new Fable and not some kind of a reimagining of the first one.
Yeah, I think it is a brand new Fable. It was a cute little, cinematic trailer.
It was a cute cinema where they show this pixie flying around, smelling the roses or whatever flowers, and then, seeing a big flower open up, and she looks at it, and all of a sudden something grabs her from behind, pulls her down, and it's a big frog just eating her. I mean, it was it's kind of like the perfect thing saying, hey, this is Fable, because that's what Fable's all about. Like this, it's sort of tongue-in-cheek. Tongue-in-cheek, exactly. So it does say something about a statement of intent for the series return, is what the intent of that announcement was. So I'm excited for Fable. I've enjoyed Fable. I played Fable. I never actually played the first Fable. I played Fables 2 and 3 and loved them to death. And I will be all over Fable when it releases. Chances are it's going to be a while, I think, before we see Fable.
Fable has always been one of those it's coming when it comes sort of games. So we're probably 2 years at least away from that. I'm glad they're working on it. I'm excited for it, and I will play it when it gets here.
Agreed. New State of Decay 3. My problem with this announcement was that it showed nothing about what the game is. It was literally a pre-rendered movie. Cinematic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what does that tell me about the game? Because if it's anything like the other two, I'm bored already.
Yeah, it looks like they're introducing zombie animals. I haven't played much of the other two. It is an interesting style of game, but it doesn't appeal to me that much. I die very quickly in these sort of survival games.
That's the problem. Yeah, I agree. I loved the first one. I thought it was a very unique concept for its time. You know, back when it came out in 2014. It was extremely unique for its time. State of Decay 2, I was not as impressed with. State of Decay, the original, actually came out for the 360. That's right. It was actually before 2014. It was like 2012. It was in the last phases, or is it maybe 2013, the last year of 360, because it pushed the boundaries of what the 360 could do for this open world.
Yeah.
And then State of Decay 2 came out and expanded on that even further, because now it was on the Xbox One. And State of Decay 3, I don't know. I don't care if it's the same thing again, just prettier looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'll again on Game Pass, so we'll try it out. And
sure.
See what it's like.
Sure. I am excited.
Less excited.
I am excited for Everwild, even though, like the other games before it, it didn't show gameplay, but it is from Rare, and I've always enjoyed Rare games. So to have a new game from Rare coming, I'm kind of really, really intrigued. Although I know nothing about the game, I don't know what kind of game it is. Rare usually hits it out of the park.
Yeah, there's not been a lot of their stuff that has been garbage, really. I mean, lot of most of their stuff has been, it's been good. It has been. I mean, they had Rare Replay, that they were able to bring up because people like that enough that that they wanted all of their old stuff. So I think that it's going to end up being quite good.
I agree. Nod is bringing out a game called Tell Me Why, another narrative-driven tale, which is what they're known for. Ori and the Will of the Wisp is getting an Xbox Series X upgrade. Okay.
Yeah.
Obsidian Entertainment is coming back with another RPG. Holy crap, it's called Avowed. It looks like a first-person RPG a la like Skyrim.
Yeah, and when it popped onto screen, I'm like, are they announcing a new Skyrim? Like that my immediate thought was like, is this a new Skyrim? Because they started
new Elder
with
Scrolls?
sword in one hand and magic coming up in the other hand, and I'm like, yes, please. This looks fantastic.
Yeah, and not only that, but the video showed, and I think they said this was an in-game captured cinematic, in-engine. The hand effects, like that flame, almost like transparent flame around the hand, was just so impressive that kind of really gives you a really quick glimpse at the power of the next-gen systems. Wow, I can't wait. I am excited. Obsidian knows how to make an RPG. And if this is an actual open world first-person RPG, I am all over this game. All over it. A couple games I don't care about because I've never played the original: Psychonauts 2, Stalker 2, and Warhammer 40,000 Darktide.
So Psychonauts 2 was just announced that it right after this thing they announced that it's being delayed until next year.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
So right after they announced it, I mean, Jack Black singing in this was actually really good, and the original song that he did, it was great. But again, I didn't play the first one either, so I'm not super excited about it. Stalker 2 was an old PC game that reminds me a lot of Metro.
I've never been interested in Stalker. Going back to Psychonauts, I know the original Psychonauts was super popular, and people have been clamoring for a Psychonauts 2. So I know there's going to be a lot of people excited about this. I just don't know the excitement. I've never played the original, so it doesn't appeal to me at all.
And we'll get to try it when it comes out. It had a very Yellow Submarine vibe to me.
Really?
I guess the Beatles.
It is kind of it is a very trippy thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm interested in seeing what it might be about. The Warhammer thing looked cool.
I've played Warhammer games in the past, and I've just not my thing.
It was a pre-rendered movie, so we didn't see any gameplay or anything like that. It looked like it might be a cool thing, but nothing to get me excited about a Warhammer game.
Yeah. A new Tetris Effect called Tetris Effect Connected. It looks like it's multiplayer Tetris game. Multiple. Looks like you can play pieces in other players' game space. So it's interesting, and that's going to be... All of these games are also exclusive. Console exclusives.
Console exclusives, yeah.
Yes. Which is interesting. And I think the last one on the list is a game called The Gunk, which looks kind of like a... and it says it in the article here that it's sort of like a Splatoon meets No Man's Sky. So it looks like a No Man's Sky style alien planet, but you have this gun that sucks up the goop from around you. But again, it felt like it was more like a cinematic intro than actual gameplay. So I don't know. At the end, it showed an alien ready to attack, but that's where it cut out. So what is the game? I don't know. I'll check it out, because guess what? It's going to be on Game Pass.
Yeah. They also showed off Grounded, which is almost feels like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, yeah.
The video game.
Yeah, that looks interesting. It's like it's a first-person shooter, but you're miniaturized in the backyard.
Yeah, and it looked kind of fun. You know, the little bit of like, you know, if you can't beat them, feed your friend to the spiders.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So, yeah, the Medium was also shown.
Oh yeah, I guess the list I found did not have the whole list. The Medium looks cool. Switching between two different realities, very much a psychological thriller. Like, that looks creepy as anything.
It does. It looked good. Again,
I don't know if I'll get through it. I mean, I feel like that game is going to be sort of like The Evil Within.
Yeah, it might be one of those ones that's a little bit more difficult. A few more that were shown. Hello Neighbor 2.
Ugh.
Echo Generation.
This must have been during the pre-show?
I missed early.
I missed the pre-show, so I came in right at the beginning when they started with Halo. I missed the 1 hour pre-show, so I'm sure there's a lot of stuff they showed during the pre-show that was not part of the main show.
And I watched the whole thing, so I'm not sure exactly where it happened. One of the things that was announced was DLC.
Oh yeah,
for the Outer Wilds.
The Outer World. Outer Worlds. Outer Wilds is a different game. Very different game. Yeah, Outer Wilds DLC. I actually never saw this coming. I thought the game was done because the story ends. The story ends. So you're getting new. The Peril on Gorgon releases in September, and it's the first piece of DLC. First of two, I think they said.
First of two. It is not free on Game Pass, unfortunately, although the game itself is. It is $14.99 or $24.99. These are, I believe, American pricing.
Yeah, for
the DLC pack to get both pieces.
Right.
But it looks cool. It's a new planet. Gorgon is a new planet, and
whole bunch of new missions.
Like new missions, new weapons, new comrades, new companions.
To add to your... because when you finish the game is over, but it takes you back to the save just before the final mission, which ends the game. So you can continue playing at that point. And I'm assuming it's kind of like what Mass Effect 3 did. You can play, or Mass Effect 2 even did the same thing. It's all right before the final mission, all the DLC. So you jump back in just before the final mission and play through all that DLC. Same thing will happen here. I guess that's cool. I mean, it's one of those games where, like, I just thought it was done, so I've forgotten about it. Even though I love the game, but I've kind of forgotten about it and moved on because I thought it was just done.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was done for you until September.
Until September 9th.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So there you go.
So, I mean, I thought it was a good show. What did you think of the show overall yesterday?
I thought it was good. One of the things I liked was because of COVID, they can't have a stage presentation. So it was really more of video, which I like.
Yes.
I don't want to have somebody sitting there and talking about it. I don't want to see somebody badly playing it on stage.
Right.
I don't want to, that guy from whatever who swears at everything. I don't want to see that. I don't care about, like, show me gameplay, show me a trailer for the game. Let's get hyped about it that way.
Yeah.
And I liked it because the entire hour was filled with stuff. And I felt that was a good way to do it. I liked like 90% of the stuff that they're coming out with. The fact that everything that they showed will not put a dent in my wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
I really enjoyed that part of it. The fact that the entire thing, we watched the Ubisoft one. It's like, okay, and the math there is $450 for those 3 games. Okay, great. We watched the Sony one. It's like, okay, that's going to cost me $250. And this one here, I watched this. I'm like, I'm free and clear. I'm good. It's going to cost me $14 for the DLC for Outer Worlds,
or $25 to get both of them.
Well, it's going to cost me the $25.
Yeah,
what it's
exactly.
going to end up costing.
Probably $30 for us Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought they did a good show. It was definitely better than the show they did back in June or May. The show they did in May. I thought it was better than that for sure. I came out of this one. Obviously, there's a lot of games I honestly don't care about, but there is a lot of games that are legitimately interesting, and I will play when they come out because they're on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's a real interesting thing to see what Microsoft did with their hour versus what we saw from Ubisoft's hour.
Oh, less than an hour?
Less than an hour. Here's Ubisoft's 3 games. We're gonna talk about that you already knew about and already had a lot of details on. And here's Microsoft. Here's 22 games in an hour.
And a lot of them you hadn't heard of yet.
A lot of them, like you had some inklings. I think we saw Avowed at one of the PAXs.
I don't remember that at all, but
a very early build of Avowed. Like it did not look great, and compared to what we saw on there, it looks fantastic now. But I think we have seen Avowed.
I can't wait. Anyway, let's segue into television, but also gaming at the same time. Last week we promised you, dear listeners, dear viewers, that we would take a hit for you, so you wouldn't have to. That we promised you we would watch The Sims Sparked and give you our feedback. And I'm going to tell you right now, we have saved you time in your life.
You owe us big time.
Do not watch this hot garbage.
It is.
This game this show has no reason to exist.
I'm watching this and I'm like, why are we doing, like, not only is it a boring concept, but it's a boring concept that's poorly executed. They don't show any of the, like, I mean, if you're going to take something like this, at least show us like the tricks and stuff like that. Give tricks and tips of how these people are building things, what they're building.
Let's explain what the show is. The show is a competition between 4 teams, and they eliminate one team every week, which means it's only 3, maybe 4 episodes.
It's 4 too many.
And there's 3 people on each team. One person is a character designer. One person is a designer of the house or the environment. And one person is a storyteller. And they are given a situation that each team now has to go create characters for the situation, a house or an environment for the situation. And then the storyteller has to tell a story with what they've created. And as you said, they go through it so quick that you never actually see what they're doing during the creation. And the other problem, too, is you don't see at the end. They give you less than a minute look at what they've actually created. And in my opinion, there was nothing actually interesting about what they've created.
The whole thing, and the storytellers that they've got seem to be uncomfortable with speaking in front of people.
Yeah, they can't even tell the story.
Like they're so like the storytellers who wrote the thing. Like you'd think that they'd have people like the people on Lego Masters when they asked them for their story around their build.
Their stories were better.
They did a better job of telling the story of what this inanimate, brick structure is doing than these people were able to do when making a movie.
When they had 5 hours to develop it.
I didn't find anybody to be likable.
Nobody. No. Not a single person was interesting. I mean, look, I was watching the show, and I'm going to be honest, as I'm watching it, I felt awkward. The whole show just felt awkward. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, what are we watching here? It's a train wreck.
And everybody knows.
And not a train wreck you want to watch.
I will watch anything, and I'm not going to go back for another episode of this.
No, absolutely not.
It's bad.
So, I'm sorry. I mean, you're welcome. And I'm sorry for myself because, wow. I started watching it, and I got 10 minutes in, and I'm like, this is terrible. This is awkward. But I made the promise to watch it, so I went back and watched the last 30 minutes, and it did not get better in any way. So awkward and bad and has no reason to exist. Like, the game... what they're trying to pull out of the game's not made for this. There's nothing absolutely awe-inspiring about building things in The Sims.
Yeah,
you know, like Lego Masters, you can build some freaking amazing things with Lego. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The Sims is just, you're building environments with assets they've already given you.
Yeah, like nothing about that. Like I didn't look at any of this go, wow. No, I'm looking at this like, okay, none of it is interesting.
There's nothing interesting about the characters you've created.
I would rather watch these people who go on these Sims things and create like I've seen one where somebody created like a maze around the guy's house. So every morning he'd have to get up and do this maze, which took him 10 hours to get to the curb. And then his shift was over and he had to walk back home. Or the people who go in and they lock the door, delete the doors from the house, and then, and have these people go crazy in the house. That's more entertaining for Sims than this was. This was horrible.
So let's move off of things that are not entertaining and move on to the new show Cursed on Netflix. And it's... Oh, wait. Did I say move away from not interesting? Then I probably shouldn't have mentioned Cursed.
I have not watched any of this yet. It immediately got terrible reviews.
Dorothy and I watched the first 2 episodes. The first episode was interesting, but strange and weird, like mystical weird.
Yeah.
I like the character. I like the actor who's playing Merlin. He played Floki from Vikings. Okay. Although the character of Merlin, to me, is like, that's not Merlin. Like, they're literally portraying Merlin as this drunk, disheveled person who barely really even knows what he's doing. I'm like, that's not Merlin. Merlin is a highly intelligent wizard.
I have seen Merlin portrayed in that fashion before. I'm okay with it at times, depending on how it's done. So this is Arthurian Legend, obviously.
Yes.
I'm okay with them taking some liberties with some characters because
it's
almost like it's telling a story of this is the storybook Merlin, and then when you meet the actual Merlin, he was he was greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, I guess
sort of thing.
Sure.
You're supposed to take that. We've all heard of Merlin, but then when you actually meet Merlin, this was like somebody doing a really good job of hyping him up.
Yeah. Yeah. Ultimately the characters themselves were fine. I was a little put off by the way the portrayal of Merlin, but I do love the actor who's portraying him. He's great at playing that weird, out there, crazy character. And that's kind of, he's portraying Merlin as sort of like a crazy drunk person, who is more like an alchemist than a magician. But we watched the first episode. I'm like, okay, it was interesting. I kind of liked what they did with that. So let's watch the next one. Watch the next episode immediately. And the next episode was so drawn out, so boring, I was actually falling asleep watching it. And we got to the end of the second episode. I'm like, I don't want to watch anymore now. There was nothing interesting about this. Like, where is this going?
And it's hard because we're talking. This is a Netflix original, and Netflix has done so well with stuff like Warrior Nun.
Yes. Oh, Warrior Nun is great.
And The Witcher, and then you have this, which really feels like a huge letdown.
And this has so much potential.
Yeah.
Right? This really has potential. You've got a magical sword of power in the hands of like a 16-year-old girl who was chosen, before Arthur. She's essentially the Lady of the Lake. That it's her story, how she becomes the Lady of the Lake. And I don't know, and she's actually portrayed as being part of the Fae, right? So she's essentially a fairy, and the English I guess the king's men are hunting down the Fae and killing them, and she escapes. She's being hunted, and she has the Sword of Power. It was given to her by her mother to return. Her job is to take the Sword of Power to Merlin. And when she touches it, it lights up, it glows, and she was able to basically slay these dire wolves. And it's cool because the sword, the sword lights up, the special effects are good, but there's just nothing interesting. And she has powers. She can control nature, but she doesn't know how to control her powers. So
that's always how it
so
works.
You never actually get to see her using her powers. And I'm like, just, you know what? Give her the ability to actually use her powers. It would be more interesting. It really would.
I agree.
Anyway.
Well, everything else got delayed, Sean. Everything.
So
Tenet, which was...
we actually have nothing good to talk about in television land right now.
No, really. So Tenet, which was supposed to be the first big blockbuster coming back to theaters, has been delayed indefinitely.
Really?
Indefinitely, yeah. Theaters cannot... they can't open up to the numbers that people want. These movies that are not willing to go to the VOD, the video on demand route, are going to basically be pulled back until they can get a full theater.
Well, New Mutants is still scheduled for August 28th in theaters. In fact, the New Mutants just had a Comic-Con online video yesterday to talk about the movie.
Yeah. It'll be delayed tomorrow, I'm sure.
It's been delayed, 4 times now?
8, I think.
That's crazy.
It's had, I think, 8 delays now. Yeah, that's weird. So a bunch of movies, Avatar 2, the new Star Wars movie, have been delayed by a year. That was announced
yesterday. New Star Wars movie hasn't really been announced yet, other than it's coming in 2022.
Yes, it's been delayed by a year now.
So it's now 2023. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was announced that it was announced Avatar 2. All the Avatar movies have been pushed back by a year, and the Star Wars movie has been pushed back by a year.
Does anyone actually care about the Avatar movies at this point? It's been 11 years.
James Cameron?
Right? That's about it. Do we really need 4 more Avatar films?
Listen, when they come out, I'll watch them. I'll enjoy them. I mean, they'll whatever, but I'm not excited about them. I'm not anticipating them. No. I'm not sitting here going, "Wow, I can't wait till I get these." So a number of movies have been delayed. Stuff. We did get some good news though.
Yesterday they dropped another trailer for Bill and Ted Face the Music and announced that it was being delayed from August 18th to August 31st in theaters and video on demand. It's going to hit video on demand the same day it hits theaters. So they're giving viewers the option. If you want to go watch it in the theater, it's there. If you want to sit at home and watch it, you can do that too. And that's what all these other movies should do.
They absolutely should. People do not feel comfortable going to theaters. I know I personally do not feel comfortable going to a theater.
Not yet. Even though here in Canada, the virus is completely under control now. I don't know I honestly don't know what our numbers are, but they're certainly not what they are in the States. And here in my area, I know there's less than 200 cases just in this area.
Yeah.
Right?
Hamilton has, I don't know about today. I mean, as of last week, there were 0 cases in the hospital where I am in.
Oh, well, it could be the same here then. I actually haven't checked recently.
Yeah. And I don't want to go out to the theater. It doesn't excite me to do that. These are all movies that I'm interested in seeing that I will wait for them to hit DVD, Blu-ray, video on demand, any of those things. So the fact that they're giving us the option to purchase this and watch this in our home safely with our family without having to take those risks, I think this is the future of theater. AMC's delayed their opening in the States again as well.
Well, yeah.
They don't have anything to show, so I don't know why. I know here in Canada, Cineplex is petitioning the government to allow them. Right now, the current rules state that they can have 50 people in the building, regardless of the number of screens they have.
Serious?
Yeah. So they're saying, well, we need at least 50 people per theater.
Right.
In order to make, or otherwise we're operating at a loss. So they're going to push back and not reopen.
I thought they were opening with 50 per theater.
50. The current rules are 50 per building.
That's crazy.
So you have 8 screens. You can have
less than 10 people per screen,
and that's not counting employees either. Like the employees.
Well, that's just stupid. Those totals.
So
5 people per theater. Well, I bought my tickets. It's just me and my family.
Yeah,
it's like that would be okay. That would be okay.
Yeah, it's you and your family and the projectionist, and they're going to hand you the keys. And can you lock up when you're done?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here, go make some popcorn.
Yeah, if you want popcorn.
So video on demand for Bill and Ted Face the Music. The trailer looks great. Like they finally have a full-on trailer. It's not just a teaser, but it looks like this is Bill and Ted. This is it. Like,
yeah, we are sitting Leah down because this is VOD now, so we are going to watch this as a family. We're sitting Leah down this weekend to watch 1 and 2.
We watched the first one back in February for Dorothy's birthday, and the girls watched with us. So we should sit them down for the second one, and then we'll all do video on demand for the third. I can't wait. I'm excited. I love the Bill and Ted films. I mean, the first one's obviously better than the second, but this one looks like it's literally a love letter to fans. It even brings back death from the second one. You know,
William Sadler is fantastic.
Oh man, I can't wait. So that's just over a month away. That's 5 weeks away, and we'll be able to watch Bill and Ted, a new movie. Tico,
excited!
A new movie.
There's stuff happening. There's stuff coming. Real quick, last thing. The Boys has been renewed for a 3rd season.
Before the second, what?
Before the second season aired, it was announced yesterday that they have been renewed for a 3rd season already.
Wow. When does the second season drop?
September, I want to say 9th, but I'm probably just making up that number. But it's in September.
So it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode of the OMG Hour. Of course, you can follow the show on the Twitterverse at the OMG Hour. Don't forget, we have a YouTube channel. If you're not watching us there, go to OMG Nexus. Go to youtube.com/OMG Nexus and give us a subscribe there and click the little bell, and you'll get notified when we have new. I can't talk, Tico. New stuff
happens, and
also,
I'll tell you about it.
If you didn't know it, we're also on Facebook. Just look up OMG Nexus on Facebook. We're there too. So check us out, like us, be our friend. And of course, I am Ziantane everywhere. That's XIANTAYNE. Now I can stop talking. Phew.
Now you can. All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place. And our Instagram page for Flipping Tables with OMG just hit 700 followers. We are posting all of our fun board game stuff that we do, that we talk about, plus links to the videos and everything like that. So check us out there as well. It's a fun place to do stuff.
That's it, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk at you again next week.
Bye, guys.
Close behind the veil. Struggle and cry out for help. Shattered but alive.